talk about this crazy, messed up 8-game slate that we have. Jimmy Grant, it's only perfect that the final stream for these big NBA slates of the regular season, we're dealing with a plethora of injuries, my friend. How the hell are you?
I mean, I'm good. Fancy, I hope you are as well. Happy Friday as well. Happy Friday, everyone out there. And I think a plethora is almost selling it short. I think, John, about an hour ago, this was an hour ago, and we've obviously had plenty of injury news since then. Counted, he wasted his time, spent all day counting how many injuries there were. He said 87 all players that were listed out on today's slate, including season-long injuries, and has only gotten worse since then, Fancy. So I'm buckled in. I'm ready. I'm dialed in. I'm so dialed in. Like I want to. Like I feel like I'm gonna win everything tonight.
Yeah, I could tell by the confidence with what you just said. Tell you that much. Instead of me going over half the league's names with the injuries, let's just go over the teams, James, very quickly that are essentially giving in and just putting out the scrubs tonight, man, because latest news, the Kings, a lot of their guys are going to be out, including Mr. Holmes, Mr. Bagley will be out, Mr. Barnes has been out. So we're looking at the Metus and we're looking at the Mo Harklesses of the world once again. Dude, Terrence Davis. I mean, dude, this is what we're looking at here at this point.
Yeah, it's going to be that game is a disaster because on the flip side of things, Memphis is resting their whole rotation. So I think just teams that we should be noting that are resting everyone. Golden State decided they're going to rest everyone tonight. New Orleans has been resting most of their guys already. They're out of playoff contention, so all their guys are out. Sacramento, Memphis, as we both, Fancy alluded. Houston has been tanking for quite some time. They have pretty much everyone out, except all these secondary players have been really, really good for fantasy purposes. The Clippers don't really care, obviously, if they get the 3 or 4 seed tonight. They will be resting Paul George, Kawhi Leonard. Ibaka's questionable. Reggie Jackson, doubtful. Patrick Beverley, Terrence Mann out. Toronto, they don't care who plays and who doesn't. They're resting everyone. OKC's been resting everyone all year. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he's probably been healthy for months, but it doesn't matter. Right. Detroit is resting their backups now. Like they're resting. Their starters are already resting. Now their backups are resting. So that is another team we're going to be looking at value. Orlando as well. They're resting their backups. I mean, they don't have any real starters. They're just a team full of backups. So they're currently resting everyone. And then Cleveland has a lot of question marks as well. So honestly, Fancy, it probably would have been easier to just go with the teams that are going to play their guys. Washington has a lot to play for. If they win tonight, they clinch a playoff spot. If they lose, they leave the door open for the Bulls to sneak in the tournament. Denver could possibly move up to the 3 seed. Utah wants to keep the 1 seed because right now, as it stands, the Lakers are in the playoff tournament. And if Utah wins that 1 seed, I mean, they, best chance of avoiding the Lakers, I'd say. Dallas wants to stay out of the play-in tournament, so they're going to be playing their guys. And honestly, that's it. Those 4 teams tonight, and I guess Philly, right? Because Philly still has a chance at the 1 seed as well. So, or they are currently the 1 seed, right? So, they're 1 game ahead of Brooklyn. So 5 teams out of the 16 tonight have something to play for.
I'll just say this about Denver very quickly. Barton, Campazzo, Gordon, Dozier, Millsap, all not going to play tonight. Right. So there's going to be some value there as well.
That is true.
And I don't think Monte Morris is ready health-wise yet for a full workload. So I think he's going to be playing. Based off what I've seen, I don't think he hits 20 minutes. But if he does, it'll be 20 minutes max, and that's about it. So let's talk about somehow, some way, John Impemba was able to write a playbook, the DFS NBA playbook at fantasyalarm.com. Again, 8-game slate. We'll let you know if any more news breaks. I don't think there's much more news that can break regarding these players.
Let's not go that far. I think at this point, right, anything is possible. At this point, anything is possible. Raul Neto, 1 minute ago, just ruled out.
Yep.
So let's I'm just sitting back ready for more to come. That's all I'm going to say.
So we have to talk about now, John, that hard-hitting analysis that he often gives on the site, these streams, is incredible. And let me tell you, man, I was having trouble on this slate on who to spend up for. I saw the must-see analysis in John's playbook for Russell Westbrook. Maybe some of the greatest piece of writing I've ever seen, James.
Can you share?
Better,
can you
better
share?
than anything you've ever done, I'll tell you that much.
Can you? Well, nothing like the associate managing editor and his content. But can you actually provide FA Nation with the breakdown that John provided for everyone today for Russell Westbrook?
You got to pay for this kind of analysis. No,
that's true.
I'll say it in all caps. Best player in DFS right now. Yes, he is. No Bradley Beal on the other side, by the way, and part of that matchup too. So if you need any more convincing, like we said, this team having something to play for, then yes, Russell Westbrook, you are spending up the $12K plus for him.
Fancy, over under. Last question on Westbrook because we're all going to play him. Over under in cash games. 95% owned. Over under.
I'm gonna go, man. In cash games, I'm gonna go under and go 90.
I'm going over 95%.
All right, we'll see.
I'm going over 95% owned. Someone send that tweet at us. Someone out there tweeted us if you're watching. Tweeted us what the cash game, because Fancy and I don't play cash. Well, I don't play cash, but I don't play cash games. I play tournaments. But I'm gonna say 95% owned in cash.
Yes. So that is Russell Westbrook, which he's pretty much saying you're playing him in every lineup you're putting out there tonight. He's one of the few that are going to be playing. So let's move down the tier here because we're all going to be spending up for Westbrook. So especially for us playing on FanDuel here, you go down to the value side of things, and someone who I really like that I've talked to you about a few times today, Killian Hayes. Right. He's one of the players that needs the reps, that's actually not going to be limited at all. He's going to be playing as of right now, should play 30 to 33 minutes probably. I'd say that's fair assessment. And I'm thinking that all systems to go for him, and being that he's 52 on FanDuel, they're your two guards right there for tonight.
Yeah, and Fancy, just to even boost that minutes cap that you kind of projected, he's played 36 and 38 the last two games. The Pistons are really letting him go, and not a better time in the season to do so. And the Pistons are one of the worst teams in the NBA, so why not let him go? So I think we could even see more than that, and that just further more warrants that play. I think if I were to pivot elsewhere, just off Killian Hayes, D'Anthony Melton would be someone that I'm really interested in for tournaments. Averages a fantasy point per minute when everyone is healthy for Memphis. He averages 1.1 fantasy points per minute without John Morant, 4% usage increase, and they're out everyone. So I think Melton could be a big player, and Jordan Poole, especially on DraftKings where he's 4,100. I mean, he scored 20 actual points in 20 minutes last night. The guy just scores the basketball. And again, we mentioned there's no Steph, there's no Wiggins, there's no Oubre, there's no Draymond. So I think Jordan Poole will carry a pretty hefty workload. So if not Killian Hayes, I think there are some nice pivots below in D'Anthony Melton and Jordan Poole.
All this value, are you still turned on to the DeLon Wrights and Colin Sextons of the world who are higher priced compared? Because remember, the pool is smaller than your normal 8-game slate because of all the crap value that you have and the injuries. So some of these other guys like Sexton and especially Wright, with still a lot of the Kings out, including De'Aaron Fox, that we just found out is also not going to play. Are you just looking past those guys because of the extreme value?
I mean, yes and no. I think this is one of those rare occasions in a season where you can leave a lot of money on the table, right? Usually you don't want to leave like $1,000, $1,500 in your lineups on the table, but like there's so much value you can do that. You don't need to force a Colin Sexton into your lineup if you don't feel comfortable doing so, paying $8,300. I think he's viable, but like I don't think you should feel the need to do so because you can get Jordan Poole for 41, or you can get Killian Hayes for 52 over on FanDuel, something like that. So no, I don't think you need to force guys into your lineup. look, we saw Stanley Johnson score 35 actual the other night. That says all you need to know about end of season DFS. You don't have to spend the $50,000 or $60,000 that you're given by DraftKings and FanDuel respectively. You don't. Not at the end of the year. You spend up on your Russell Westbrooks of the world, you spend up on your Nikola Jokic's of the world, and you fill in all the value around that. And if you have money left over and you're comfortable with your lineup, so be it.
Yep, and this is why you go with someone else. You already mentioned D'Anthony Melton. Let's mention someone else from Memphis, too, Desmond Bain. Yep. This is someone who we've gone back and forth on. It seems like when the wave is high and the streak is hot, you ride it out, but you want to be the first one before it goes crashing down, a.k.a. his price rises a little bit more. But again, with all these, with a decent amount of the Memphis midcourt out, Bain right there. Again, you want to be spending up. You want to go extreme stars and scrubs on a night where half of our world, half the NBA is in purgatory. I think there's your complimentary piece right there in Bain. Sub 5K on both sites.
Yep. Last 2 times he's played 26 or more minutes, Fensty. We've gotten 22 actual points in each contest and 30 plus fantasy points. So in elite matchup against the Kings, there's secondary players that are going to be playing tonight aren't any better defenders than their starters. So, yeah, I'm all in on Bain in the value tier. I think he makes for another very good complementary piece around your Westbrooks and your Porters and your Jokic's.
How do you feel about Saddiq Bey? Have you been that impressed with his production, all things considered? Like you mentioned, benching their backups. This guy's still playing. I've been expecting, based off what we've seen, especially in the rebounding before these last few games, just to go up and up and up. Can we trust for that 5X return that we so crave?
I mean, the opportunity is there.
Yeah.
And the shot attempts have been there, but you mentioned it. The rebounds haven't been there. The peripheral stats haven't been there. He hasn't had a steal in 5 games. He's had 2 blocks in 5 games. Do I want to pay $6,800 ultimately for Saddiq Bey when he's not providing us with the peripheral stats? You can. I feel better about $5,900 on FanDuel. I think that's a better fit in terms of price point and reaching 5X. I think they're just better guys. Like Hachimura on FanDuel is a small forward. Right. He's the secondary option to Westbrook, obviously, with Beal off the floor. Kent Bazemore is out there alone.
Good call.
Right. It's a great call. And then, I mentioned him already, but Stanley Johnson scored 35 actual points. He hasn't scored 35 actual points combined in the last 71 games, Fensty. So, right. Opportunity. There's just guys at lower price points that have what, as crazy as it sounds, similar floors and maybe as much upside right now.
Maybe this slate really isn't, especially for cash, isn't as hard as we thought with all the injuries. You know what you're doing. You've got your top price guy, you've got your Porter, you've got your Westbrook, and then you're going to go with one of these 4K guys, and right. You just keep doing that again and again and again, and everything will balance out at the end. So it's almost like you want to go after the guy because you have ample opportunities sub 5K. As we go through, this is almost like fantasy therapy. As we go through this crazy stream call, I'm almost feeling better about this slate than I did for the last 12 hours, Grande. So good job on your end, man. And good job by John and Pemba in identifying these players. Some of the others that we haven't covered, by the way, go on fantasyalarm.com right now. It's a messed up slate. You need these plays. Let's move on and talk about one of our other favorite guys, because we haven't really touched on the Houston value yet. And I know why you're raising your hands, my man. So why don't you talk about the player that's going to probably slay some slates tonight?
I mean, and it's something that you and I were talking about earlier today, where Kenyon Martin Jr. feels like a dude that can produce on a good team. He could be in a rotation. He's very multi-talented. He's very good on the glass. He can score the basketball. And maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, and maybe he's not this guy. And it's just, but it's opportunity, right? And at this point in DFS, that's what it is. And you go through the box scores, Fancy, if you just want to do that. 37 minutes, 39 minutes, 39 minutes, 39 minutes, 44
They have no one else.
Points, 20, 15, 27, 26, 23. Rebounds, 10, 9, 10, 7, 10. Fantasy points, 43, 39, 50, 47, 50. $7K. Why? Like,
As
why
weird
is
as
that?
this sounds, Grande, it's almost been like an indirect boost for him because since Porter went down,
Yep.
all of a sudden this guy's producing again. But they
Yep.
don't really play the same position.
Right.
That's weird, right?
I mean, yeah. More shot attempts. Kevin Porter is a very ball dominant guy.
Sure.
You know, same with Christian Wood. Christian Wood's been out of the lineup, and now the rebounds are flowing and the points are being scored. I mean, you know, listen, Houston lost all their scores. They lost Wall, they lost Porter, they lost Wood. I mean, they have the greatest player in the NBA in Kelly Olynyk, but they've been able to coexist. They've been able to coexist pretty well. So, look, here's another guy. If I was building a core, Kenyon Martin is right beside Russell Westbrook in my core place because, right. I mean, how can you not like the production? How can you not like the price tag? Clippers are resting everybody, right? So fire up Kenyon Martin with confidence. Literally, dude, these games that he's Fancy, I just want to. The guy has gone through the ringer, by the way. The Lakers, Utah, Milwaukee, Philly. Those are 4 of the last 5 games, and he's put up 39 or more fantasy points in every single one of those games. Like, bravo to Kenyon Martin, who's balling against really good teams right now.
I mean, you could go after him, or you could go after Kristaps Porzingis, who will probably get hurt 5 minutes into the game. So, you know, who do you feel safer with at this point? End of season DFS.
End of season DFS, baby.
That's the kind of decisions that we have to make. Yeah, Kristaps Porzingis, yeah, he'll be fine 8,600. 5 minutes later, he's out with a sprained ankle. So Darius Bazley also there again. In a night like this, while we're saying that it seems like it's getting easier, you do need a few safety blankets. Yep. And Darius Bazley, to me at least, again, I feel like with Utah, you could get to their 4 a little bit because it is Bogdanovich. So with that, I feel like Bazley's still a safe option and a very fair-priced option.
Yeah. My only thing would be I'm going to find $400. Like, if it comes down to him or Kenyon Martin, especially on DraftKings, like, I'm going to find the $400. Right. If I love my lineup so much and I don't want to move and I have 6,600 and I'm like, damn, I can't get to Kenyon Martin, perfectly fine. And I have no problem with that. I love the price tag on FanDuel. $5,900 for Bazley is way too cheap.
You looking at any value at the 4s, especially because something that I've been thinking about with Isaiah Stewart out. You looking at these Detroit guys at all?
They just are so lackluster.
Like, Okafor excite me, man. I'm sorry. I know the minutes will be there. He just doesn't excite me, man. We could do better than that, or we could just pay for Jokic and call it a day.
How about I can do better? I think Xavier Tillman stands out with everyone out for Memphis. I think Xavier Tillman's a very safe guy. Gets a very soft matchup against the Kings front court, and I think Freddie Gillespie that you and I were talking about a little bit before the stream. You know, they're like Toronto is another team that has a lot of just everybody out. Like, even Yuta Watanabe is going to miss tonight's game. And I get it. Chris Boucher didn't even play the other day. Who didn't see the floor. So, like, he's healthy.
This team has been doing everything they can to avoid the play-in tournament even since probably for the last 45 days, I'd say.
Yeah, for quite a long time. And you know what? Gillespie played 31 minutes, and the minutes have been 22, 25, 31 the last 3 games. You know, not like exciting, but I think he works on FanDuel because you look at the logs here, Fancy, contributes blocks and steals every game. He had 3 steals last game. He had 3 blocks and a steal the game before. He's had a block and a steal, at least 1 block and a steal in 4 of 5. I mean, you know, we get the extra points over on FanDuel. I like him there. So, you know, I think I prefer Gillespie and Tillman to all that Detroit value, which I think is in play because they don't have like bodies, but I just prefer other guys to them.
Right. Now let's move on to center very quickly. Talk about someone because I actually put out a poll at Fantasy Sports on Twitter before. Coolest guys named Billy Zane, the actor. Billy Zabka, also the actor. Billy Wagner, former MLB closer. And then this guy, Billy Hernan Gomez. I know who you're voting for, Grande. You're voting for the Hernan Goat.
Dude, there's a clear Billy you forgot.
What?
Madison.
Nah. That's nah. Come on. Who's he taking the place of? Billy Hernan Gomez?
All of them.
Nah.
He's the GOAT Billy.
Dude, ready for this? I don't even think Billy Madison cracks my top 5 of Adam Sandler movies.
I'm
oh my God!
I'm done with the stream. Cut it.
Cut it. Be done with the stream if you give me the vote of confidence with Billy Boy Hernan Gomez, because again, I know what Adams. I mean, have we seen that Adams has been officially ruled out yet? That's the one thing that we have.
I mean, look,
he's not playing.
Like, what is Stan Van doing? What is Stan Van doing?
He doesn't know what he's doing. The only thing he did well this year was make sure Zion actually attacked the rim. Did a hell of a job with that. So, yeah.
Not officially out. Not officially out as of right now.
If he's ruled out, Hernan Gomez is absolutely in play.
Yeah. 30 fantasy points. Nice, safe floor. I definitely think he's a very viable option.
Yes, very much. By the way, our senior managing editor, John Impemba, wanted to make sure that he knew that in the core plays, he said over 90% invested will be Russell Westbrook. So he's kind of sitting there right in the middle of us, James.
Yeah.
You have over 95. I have under 95, but over 90. So it'll be interesting when we get that final number, my man.
Maybe we'll take a bet over to wageralarm.com and see who's right at the end of the night.
We'll have to. Russell Westbrook, he is in your lineups here. Now, someone else that we have to talk about as well, Nikola Jokic, another foundational piece, James, earlier that you said I couldn't go the stream without mentioning a foundational piece in him. I had asked you earlier if you were worried if they would scale his minutes, but then I kind of thought about it and I said, this team is pretty much putting out nothing that can stop him. So even in 25 minutes, he's very much going to explode, in my opinion.
I mean, if there was going to be a time to rest him, it could have been, or to scale back his minutes, it could have been against Charlotte. They didn't. It could have been against Minnesota. They didn't. And they can still win. They can still get the 3 seed, you know? So with the Clippers resting guys, I think Malone's just going to let Jokic rock. And if this game stays competitive, because Denver does have a lot of guys missing, you know, we probably see Jokic play 30, and we just saw him go for 30 actual points in back-to-back games. So he's really looking good. He's going to, you know, he's just plus Fancy. Like, I think that this year's MVP race has been so discussed and so, like, almost anti-Jokic. I feel like Mike Malone really wants him to put a stamp on things. And these last 2 games, I don't see him taking the workload away from him just to be like, yo, go get your award. Because he's going to win. Like, he should win. He is the clear favorite to win. But there has been a lot of parity. There's been a lot of guys in front. There's been a lot of guys injured who have fallen behind. And Jokic hasn't. He's been healthy all year. He's been playing.
He deserves it. Come on.
He deserves it. But I'm just saying, just for the stamp, you know, just like that final stamp, like
he's given the stamp.
And well, I
watch him get injured, and then what? Magical season over. They already lost Murray.
Even if he got hurt, he'd still win the MVP at this point.
Yes, that's true. Then that's why I'm wondering why they're even playing him.
Well, because I guess they could get the 3 seed. So I think that does matter. I think that could matter to them. But I guess we'll end up seeing, right? We'll see if it does in fact matter.
We shall see. You can give James a follow on Twitter at _real_Grande. Give me a follow at Fantasy Sports. We thank John and Pemba and Matt Sells as well. Give John and Pemba, who did the DFS NBA playbook, a follow on Twitter at JMPemba777. And of course, Matt Sells will help produce these live streams as well at these Sells, man. Also want to thank Sean Mitchell too. Sean Mitchell also pops in here and there. Doing a lot when it came to CSGO, though. Plenty busy there. Grande, man, it's been real, dude. It's been fun talking all these injuries with you all season. Not really, but still fun streaming with you, my man. So it was a good time, and I hope that we taught some people a few things about the NBA, my friend. We're both passionate about it.
Absolutely, man. It's been great, and shout out to all the same guys that you just shouted out. Been a great year. Not over. So we're going to cover through the NBA postseason. Just the live streams are coming to an end. We do thank everyone for tuning in each and every weekday. That'll, chat a little NBA homage on the last day of the live streams,
Whether it's the regular season, the postseason, or the postseason, when it's not in season, we're always going to dominate together as a family because there isn't any other option. We're going to win.